fairly often as we navigate the COVID-19 crisis together. And here we are. Extension's got a lot of resources and a lot of expertise. I mentioned that on Monday, and my goal is to bring many of the experts that we have to join together and help us, again, navigate this challenging time. I'm grateful for our agricultural communications team who's worked hard in the last couple of days to get us set up to have multiple guests on these live videos while we maintain our social distance. As you can see, I'm joined today by my colleague, Dr. Jim Delprince, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about what his role is here. Some folks may be getting a little overwhelmed by all the COVID-19 news, and Dr. Delprince can tell us a little bit about something that might provide a healthy, helpful, and fun distraction. So, Dr. Delprince, tell us, what is your role in Extension?
Hi, David. Thanks for inviting me and for letting me talk about plants and flowers. My role as an Extension horticulture specialist is to work in the area of floriculture. So I work with groups of professional florists. I also work with farmers who produce floriculture products. And I do a lot of work too with consumers to help them to learn more about flowers, how to purchase them, a little bit about how to grow them, but mostly how to arrange them. And I lead a statewide program called the Master Floral Designer Program, which is available as a face-to-face program and online.
Okay, so we want to hear more about that. But first, tell us, how'd you get into floral design?
When I was little, my folks really got me into gardening to enjoy fruits and vegetables and floriculture as well. And we used to go on trips to retail greenhouses near my hometown in Lake Erie. But when I was in the fourth grade, I was the one who collected the money from the other kids to buy our music teacher a plant. And there was a new plant shop. This is in the 70s. So there was a new plant shop that opened up in my town called the Happy Cricket. It was owned by a lady by the name of Sandy Bowdler. And I collected the money and I put it on the counter and I said, we need to get our teacher a plant. So the ladies in the store walked me through the store and showed me all the different things. And I think that they gave us a really good deal because I just remember having a few bills and lots of coins. And I put it on the counter and they said, this is the best plant for you. And they wrapped it up in a bag and put a red and green bow on it. I thought it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I told them, I want to work here. Well, I was too young to work, but eventually I did get a job there and I worked there through my junior high and high school years, all the way to now.
Wow, Jim. So I have to digress for a second and say that my folks and my grandparents in particular were very influential in me taking the path that I have. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother in the yard, in the garden, working on flowers, and she's the one that first introduced me to Extension when I was just knee high to a grasshopper, as we like to say down here in the South. I would go to homemakers meetings with her and sit on the wall and color and play with other kids while they did their extension work. And I just love hearing the way that people came to this work. And thanks for telling us that. So I know, back to flowers, I know that just having flowers in the house can cheer up the space and make us feel better. Can you tell us a little bit about what the literature says or the research says on the power of flowers for our mindset or our mental health?
Yes, more and more there is research that's being done about this type of thing. And we know that having plants and flowers in the workplace improve your productivity. There was a really great study that was done by Dr. Jeanette Haviland Jones of Rutgers several years ago. And she found that flowers make people happy as a gift, also in the environment where they live and work. They improve your mood, and two, they help people to make better connections. So, for instance, at this time when people are staying at home and you can't go anywhere, what a great time with your family to take Dr. Jones up on that research and to harvest a few things from the yard and garden and put them into a vase and start to build some positive memories about things that you can do from the simple, seemingly mundane things around the house and making something extraordinary with them.
Those are great insights. But here's the rub: some florists may be closed, and while we're social distancing, we really don't need to be out at the grocery store more than we have to be. So maybe that's where we would routinely buy flowers to make things. What ideas do you have for things that we could get from our own yards to put together for flowers for
Yes. Well, I'm glad you're asking me that because I like to try to make my grocery runs about once a week. So I'm getting better at making lists and coordinating meals. And I know as soon as I get into my favorite supermarket here in Bay St. Louis, the first thing I'm going to see is a flower display. And it's going to be the first thing that I put in my cart. Beyond that, though, I'm in between right now and I don't have any fresh flowers in the house. But this morning, I just walked outside and I just cut some greenery from my yard and put it in a vase so I would have something live around me. And living in Mississippi, we live in a big green garden. Our state is a big green garden, and as such, even our weeds are beautiful that are popping up. So at this time of the year, it doesn't have to be flowers. It could be just a vase of greenery. Here we are in the Easter season, and I was reading a Facebook post today that someone was talking about. Here we are coming to Palm Sunday here pretty soon, and we won't be gathering at church, but we can still have those symbols around us.
right.
And so, as part of this, here in the coastal area, we have those things in our yards that have been growing. And, maybe now we're going to look at them with a refreshed eye and in a different way and appreciate them. So why not take a pair of clippers or some scissors out to the garden and cut some of those things and bring them indoors as a way to refresh our memories and refresh our souls too.
That's good insight too. Thanks for giving us those pointers. Um, we could all benefit from a creative outlet at this time, and certainly could benefit from having that greenery around us, as you've suggested. Just having something live, something growing in our space is refreshing and insightful. Is there anything else you want to leave us with, or maybe tell us about resources? I know that you've got a Facebook page that you post great videos on. Do you want to tell our viewers about that? We can certainly get those in the comments and in the caption for this video after we're finished. But anything you want to mention?
Yes, sure. When it comes to extension resources at our beautiful website, MSU Cares, under the Publications tab, if folks go to the Publications tab, which is at the upper part of the toolbar, upper part of the page, they can grab the menu for the publications and just type in floral, and you'll see all different kinds of things about growing flowers, arranging flowers. One thing in particular, if you've got young people at home, is to type in our floral design coloring book. You can download it and print it, and it's a fun little resource to color that's great for the young people. And like I say, there's stuff there for adults. In Facebook, if you go to MSU Extension Coastal Floral, you'll come to my Facebook page. I just had a video the other day where I did a miniature kids camp and floral design. So something else for those young people to do. It's about an hour long, but there are 6 different ideas in there. And I've been getting some response from that, inviting people to send me pictures of the arrangements that they made and to maybe get some pointers from me directly. I would love to share that information with them too. So it's a nice way for us to interact and invite people to take part in any of those activities.
Jim, I really am grateful for you sharing those. I have to tell you that I pulled those in for my kids. I've got, for the listeners out there that don't know me, I've got a 4-year-old daughter and a 8-year-old son and a 10-year-old son, and so we are in the throes of all this change where we've got our kids at home all the time, and we're balancing schoolwork. And I put the video on yesterday for our children, and they were wowed by your work, Jim, and found it to be engaging, and they've got ideas for projects they want to do based on what you've shared. Printed out the coloring book yesterday, and my 4-year-old was in hog heaven looking at that. In fact, I think that's what she's out there working on now is coloring some of the flowers that you've got. So I shout out to Dr. Lori Staten for her work with you on that. I think it was just extraordinarily well done, and fits the needs of our children. So Extension has a lot of resources out there. And as we come back to you often with the Facebook Lives, I'm going to be bringing other specialists in and other content experts to talk with us about how do we navigate, what are some things we can do during this time, this COVID-19 crisis. And I know if we were in person, y'all would all be giving Dr. Delprince a loud round of applause. I'm getting tongue-tied there. As you can see, he's a wonderful teacher, and he's an even better colleague. He's just a phenomenal extension specialist. So I want to say thank you to him, and thanks to you all for joining us. It's so important in this time of crisis for us to find something to do that brings us joy. That's been the theme of my life and my family the last several weeks, and something I keep talking with the team I work with in Extension is, what is it that we can do that brings us joy? And I know that for many people, for years it's been flowers, and for some, maybe you've thought about working with flowers and doing floral work. So now's a great time to step out of your comfort zone and get out in the yard and find a way to make an arrangement, bring it in, and put something in your midst that's going to bring you joy. Whatever it is, if it's not flowers, find that thing that brings you joy and practice it often. It's one way that, as I've been saying, that we can work to stay vigilant and stay healthy. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.